So that was kind of my process of how I got into writing and kind of where I found my love for it. And that's kind of why I say that my music is really like therapy, because it came from a place of need, not a place of want. Hi, my name's Sasha Keable and I'm here with Holiday Club and I'm about to play FIRSTS. What's the first moment you remember feeling like you could do music as a career? I think the first moment I remember feeling like that was probably when I was maybe like 16 years old and I had my first studio session and I thought, yeah, this is a bit of me. I like this. This is gonna be what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. Tell us about the first studio session with Leon Thomas. So it was in LA and we'd actually written another song first on the day before we wrote Move It Along. He'd been out the night before, I think, and he was a little bit hungover and he just came in and he was like, okay, like tell me everything that's been going on in your life. And then I just we spent like 2 hours maybe just talking and we wrote something else. And then we wrote Move It Along and it was just a great day and I'm such a big fan of him and I just really enjoyed watching him work. So yeah, it was a really good day and I was really happy to work with him. What was the first song you wrote after Heartbreak? I'm gonna assume that you mean the most recent Heartbreak. And I don't know, it was kind of a lengthy heartbreak. So I'd say the first song that really I felt really passionately about was Act Right. But yeah, that was probably the first song where I felt like it kind of encapsulated everything that I wanted to say. And yeah, just, yes, felt like everything that was on my mind at the time. You said Work was the first record you and J Strings made together. What was the first sound or idea he played that sparked the track? He plays guitar really well. So he played guitar and then I actually wrote something completely different whilst he was playing the guitar. And then all of a sudden he just reversed it. So they're like, ding, 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 ding. That's a completely different chord progression and it's just been reversed. And then as soon as I kind of heard that, because I wasn't sure about the first idea that I heard, once I heard him reverse it, I was like, you really know what you're doing. And yeah, then Work just came really quickly. I wrote Work in probably about 2 hours, recorded it. Like the same take that you hear on the track is the same take from today, from the day that we wrote it. So yeah, that was how we did Work. When was the first time a song of yours gave you the feeling that you could handle anything life throws at you? Maybe when I wrote Hold Up, I felt like that was a real moment for me because I remember being in the studio and some shit was going on and I wanted to leave the studio instead of staying and pushing through and writing the song. And instead, my producer was like, why don't you just stay and write something about it? So then I did, and Hold Up came out of it, and I was really happy afterwards because obviously it's a great fucking song. And it got out all the feelings that I needed to that day. Tell us about your first memories of writing poems. I first started writing poetry when I was a kid. I was in therapy for a lot of reasons when I was a kid, and the woman just gave me a book and she was like, why don't you just write down whatever you feel, like when you're feeling sad or whatever. And so I started writing stuff down, and then the poems kind of turned into, I started writing stuff and then the writing turned into poems and the poems turned into songs. So that was kind of my process of how I got into writing and kind of where I found my love for it. And that's kind of why I say that my music is really like therapy, because it came from a place of need, not a place of want. So yeah. What did the first time hearing Act Right as a complete project feel like? I'll be so real. I have not listened to the whole thing mastered back to front yet. I have not had the time. I've listened to it all obviously separately, but I guess the first time I heard it, not mixed, not mastered, but just the tracks in the right order, I was going over for ages what the order of the track should be, what track should be on it. And the first time I kind of locked in and I was like, this is what it needs to sound like. It was a really great feeling, and it felt like I'd kind of embodied everything that I wanted to say in a project. So yeah, it was good. Tell us about your first time in Colombia. I don't remember it. I was a baby. I've gone every year since I was a baby. We normally go in December. But every time I go, I remember the first time going back as an adult because there was a few years where I didn't go. And then I was like 18 when I went back. Like while I was a teenager, I kind of didn't go. And then going back as an adult was a very different experience to going as a kid because I could drink and have a nice time. And I don't know if anyone knows anything about Colombians, but it's what we love to do. So yeah, it was a good time, and I love Colombia, and it's just the best place on earth, especially in December. It's a great place. When was the first time thinking you can't give up on your dream? Can't give up on my dream? Don't know. I still am debating it. What's your first memory of hearing Knocks Me Off My Feet by Stevie Wonder? I don't have a first memory, but I have the best memory, and it was watching him sing it in Hyde Park like 4 years ago, and I just cried the whole time, and me and this random woman next to each other were just holding hands the whole time. I literally didn't speak to her the whole concert, and then didn't speak to her again after that, but we had shared a real moment. So that lady, I guess you don't know who you are, because you probably don't remember me either, but that was a great moment. Tell us about the first you done that. Oh, I think I've done it. Cool. Sweet. Thanks. Appreciate you.